Hi everyone, I hope you're doing well. My name is Katie and I upload book-related videos every single Wednesday, and today we have a different type of review for me than normal. I mean, the format's gonna be the same, spoiler-free, summary, pros, and cons. However, generally, I do not read. I actually cannot recall the last time I read a young adult fantasy novel, and that's what I'm gonna be reviewing today. This is WINTERSONG by S.J. Jones, and although I was sent this to review, you guys know I'm always upfront and honest. I am gonna get into the things I disliked about this book, as well as, of course, the things that I did like. So I'll admit I get contacted a lot to review young adult fantasy novels, and it's always a little funny to me because they always start off like, I can tell you'd really like this, and I'm like, based off what videos? However, I absolutely adore the movie Labyrinth. If you guys have seen that, I'm sure for a lot of you, like myself, David Bowie in those pants was your sexual awakening. So since this has to do with the whole fae world and they described it to me as being very dark, I was super interested. So the protagonist of our story is Liesel. She's 19 years old, living back in time in Germany. Her family runs an inn along with her very beautiful sister and her younger brother, who's kind of this musical prodigy. Liesel's sister Kath is very beautiful and she's stolen away by the Goblin King down into the, I'm already forgetting what it's called, underworld, I'm not sure. So she's stolen by him to become his wife, and so Liesel heads down there as well in an attempt to save her. So in terms of what I liked about this book, I do think that if you're like me and you're a big fan of Labyrinth, you are gonna like this book, and then it will give you those Labyrinth vibes. Even the way the Goblin King is described, it really just sounds like a younger version of how David Bowie looked in Labyrinth. It's also super fast paced, so I think this would be good as a beach read or if you're on vacation. I just went away on a girls trip with about 10 other girls in my program, and I read this. We had like a 5-hour car ride, so I read this during the drive. I also did like the fact that Liesel is described as being very plain, and I really appreciated the fact that she genuinely is physically plain. It's not like Twilight Not Pretty where she just doesn't realize she's gorgeous. She's genuinely just very plain and average looking, so a lot of the book is focusing on more so the importance of inner beauty. Also, I was happy to see that a couple gay characters pop up in the book, so that was awesome to have some nice representation there. So those are what I liked about the book, and now we're gonna get into the cons. This first one I'm not gonna get into too much because it's hard for me to wrap my head around why I feel this way, but I couldn't stand Liesel. But when I think about it, I think the reason I disliked her gets into my second con about the book, which was how they handled physical and inner beauty. Now, I know I had this in a pro because I'm glad that they touched on it. However, there is this distinct pattern in the book where if a girl's physically beautiful inside, she can't be strong and brave. But if she's plain on the outside, like Liesel, then she can be strong and brave. I think the author was very obviously trying to have this theme of inner beauty being more important than outer beauty, and for that, that's why that's one of my pros. I think that's wonderful. But there was this theme, and I have a feeling it was probably unintentional, I'm not sure, but there was this theme that you can't be physically beautiful on the outside and beautiful on the inside. That's something, again, I don't think the author was intending to have come across, but in my opinion it kind of did. In terms of the writing style, like I said, I liked that it was fast paced. I think this would be a really good like fast vacation read, but there were some aspects of the writing style I had issues with. Some plot points and even phrases were just really repetitive throughout the book. And for my final con, it has to do with the sex scenes in the books, and I'm gonna kind of tread carefully here because this video could derail real fast and I could go and talk for 10 minutes about this. And I will say first, in my opinion, this is a con, but I know for a lot of you guys watching, you're probably gonna think this is a big pro, so we all just have different opinions on sex, and that's a-okay. I definitely picked up on the fact that in this book, your first time having sex is described as being just one of the most important big things that's gonna happen in your entire life. And there's, you know, a time before you have sex and a time after you have sex, BS and AS. And it's described as this thing that will kind of undoubtedly change you in many, many ways. And again, I know a lot of people view that as a pro. Personally, that's not how I like to view it, just because I think that puts so much pressure on an individual's first time, but that's just my personal opinion. So again, for me that was a con, but I know for some of you it might be a pro. So those are my thoughts on WINTERSONG by S.J. Jones. Again, I think it's a fun, fast-paced read, so just take all of the pros and cons I said into account in terms of trying to figure out if you think you would personally enjoy this. So I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and if you have any other books that are set within the fae realm, please let me know, because although I don't read a lot of fantasy, I loved the Tithe series growing up. I loved A Great and Terrible Beauty. There's anything with that kind of vibe I really love. So I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and I'll see you soon. Bye.